Hi guys, welcome again. This is Justin, your Math 115 instructor. I just wanted to make this video to go over briefly how to navigate our laulima site. So right at the top, you'll see this is the overview page. Has my basic information, and you'll notice a picture of a dog hugging a cat. Just to remind you, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna make it through Math 115, and don't worry. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can always email me. That's probably the best way to contact me. That applies if you want to set up an appointment or if you just have a question. You can ask any math question or any other question pertaining to the class, and I would typically reply to you within that same day, usually. I kind of have 24 hours is the longest that will take to reply to you, usually, unless something crazy happens. Okay, office hours. I have office hours every Friday from 11 to 3. That's just going to be an open Zoom meeting. You can come in, pop in for just a couple minutes or an hour, however long you want, or you don't have to. It's up to you. But I'll have that time available for you. And if those times doesn't work for you, but you want to meet, then you can always email to set up a different call, or you just email me questions and I'll reply to you through email as well. You can also use the My Lab Math feature where you can ask me a question specific about a homework question, and then I'll see the question and I can answer directly. All right. So a little bit about the course. I'll let you guys kind of read the stuff on your own, but one thing I just want to highlight quickly is we're using the IDAP program, which basically means you've already paid for the book as part of your school fees. So don't buy it again unless you want a hard copy. That's up to you, but you don't need to do that. And then as far as access, you can follow these simple directions. Basically, it's self-explanatory, but I also make a video separate for navigating the MyLab Math course. So that's it. Okay. What should you do to get started? You're kind of already doing it here because you're watching this video. You're going to go through the syllabus with me and then just keep up with the weekly checklist. That's the best way to follow this course. Okay, there's a little typo here. This was made for a 16-week course. It says you expect to put about 5 hours or more studying for this class alone, but that's not really accurate because this is a summer course. So that's almost tripled. You should expect to spend more like 12 to 15 hours per week just on this class because everything is accelerated and squashed, like I mentioned in the introduction video. Okay, next tab you'll see is a My Lab Math tab. This is where you access all of your homework as well as resources to learn each of the chapters that we cover. But I'm gonna cover this tab in a separate video. So let's skip that for now. We'll go on to the announcements page. Right now, there are no announcements, but I use the announcements page as kind of just like a record of all the emails I sent you. So whenever I send an email to the class, I'll typically repeat it here in the announcements. That also, by the way, appears in that overview page at the top here on the right, or at least the most recent announcements. Okay, on to the syllabus. Here we go. For the syllabus, I'm not gonna go over the entire thing. I'll just let you guys read it on your own. This information at the top is repeated, same as the overview page, basically, and my introduction. But I don't want to spend, I don't want to make this video too long. So I'm gonna let you guys read that on your own and just kind of highlight a couple things, maybe the highlighted things. So I already talked about this 15 to 20 hours per week. Email is the primary form of communication. Withdrawal deadline. Here's a withdrawal deadline. Oh, one thing I do mention before I forget, class participation. There's this participation verification. You've probably heard about this if you've been in KCC or UH previously, but in order to stay in the class, you have to demonstrate participation. Usually it's within the first week for a normal course, but because it's summer, you have to show participation in the first few days of class. And so the way to do that is just to complete some assignment. I have a couple of assignments you can do in the first week, either a homework assignment or you can just do your introduction on Padlet. But I'll mention that once we get to the week one. Withdrawal deadline here, July 25th. That's with a W. A couple small tips. If you're the type of person that doesn't like to work online or to try to avoid online work as much as possible, I know it's kind of unavoidable because this is an asynchronous class, but when you're in My Lab Math, if you want to print the homework problems and work online and then enter the answers afterwards, you can do that. You can also redo questions until you have everything 100% correct. I highly recommend you do this because homework is going to help you to pass the class basically. In a couple ways, it's going to help your overall grade be higher because homework accounts for a certain percent, 15% of your grade, which is like a grade and a half. And the other way it helps you is because it just helps you to learn things because you're getting more practice. Okay, I'll let you guys, oh yeah, so a typical breakdown. This is a breakdown for our percentages. There's going to be one midterm for this class at about the halfway point, and then one final exam. Homework and classwork accounts for everything else. I also have some discussions which are going to be extra credits, but I don't put those officially here. I'll mention them as they come up. Okay, here's the general calendar. You look at that later on your own. And here's the tentative schedule. So you'll notice there's a lot that we're covering every week, and that's just because I keep saying this, but summer course is only 6 weeks. Everything is condensed. So you see here, the midterm comes at the end of week 3. And it's asynchronous, so the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to have the exam open, available on laulima, and you have 24 hours to begin it. Once you start it, you have about 3 hours to complete the exam. Okay, and the rest is institution information. This is kind of just common, or it's supposed to be common anyway, to all syllabi, and has some important information such as where to, find help for basic needs, or to get assistance if you have a learning disability, or things like that. Okay, so you guys can check out those links on your own later. Okay, that covers the syllabus basically. I kind of breezed through it, so if you want to see the details, then go ahead and read that on your own. All right, the next tab is the Google Sheets Stats tab. We're going to talk more about this through the course. Throughout the course. This is not going to actually come into play until you get to, I forget which chat, I think it's chapter 2. But real quick, I'll show it to you. When you click on the link, it forces you to make a copy, and that copy is going to be your own copy that you can manipulate from that point onwards. So then this is just a tool that I created to help you guys do a lot of these statistical calculations, and it'll come into play more. So don't worry about the details yet, but this is just a tool that is going to be used in this class. Okay, next tab is the week 1 tab, and weekly tabs are going to become available on Monday, usually Monday of the week, so we're starting each week on Monday, ending each week on Sunday. All the due dates are on Sunday. So week 1 begins on July, is it 1st, I think? Yeah, July 1st, first day of instruction. And then so on and so forth. And the best way to keep track with the class is just to complete everything that's on the checklist in each week. So for week 1, complete these tasks. Once you complete all these tasks, then that means you're golden. And if you do that every week, then you'll pretty much pass the class. More than likely. I shouldn't say for sure, but more than likely you will. Right now you're in the introduction section, and the weeks are split into basically 5 work days for you, 5 school work days for you. So like, for example, day 1, there's 2 sections. You see links to the notes, instructional videos to follow along with. And as you watch these videos, you're going to fill out these classwork. For classwork uploading, you can just actually just upload the link to the notes as you fill them out. Or if you prefer, you can work offline, take a picture and upload the pictures instead. But I think that's more trouble. I think the easiest way is to upload the Google Doc links. Just make sure it's viewable by me. That's for classwork. And then, okay, so in addition to classwork, there's separate homework through the MyLab Math tab. So I want to make sure this is very clear that there's 2 tasks. You have the classwork to submit, but also you have the homework for the same section. So there's 2 tasks for each section that we cover. All right, and that's basically the gist of it. In this first week, we have 5 days of work plus the Padlet intros. Padlet intros, you can just click on this to open a new window, and then create your own post by clicking this. I'm not actually, you might be able to do it directly on the page. If that's the case, then that's perfect. But if it doesn't appear for you, then click the link to open it in a separate window. Okay, that brings us to the next thing, gradebook, which is pretty self-explanatory. Grades will be populated usually once a week. Homework might trail a little behind that, but usually once every maybe 2 weeks or so. And then exams, like I mentioned, right now there's nothing here because we haven't had any exams yet. But when week 3 rolls around, you'll see the first exam appear here, and then there another again at the final exam. And that's basically it. Help is this is just a comment button for all the for all of laulima. So that's not really it's just there always. So if you need general help with laulima, there's help in there. Okay, guys, that basically covers navigation for laulima. If there's any questions, though, feel free to email me. And yeah, that's it. So welcome again. Hope you guys enjoy the course.